That's the reality of what's possible. Do I have your attention?
Sure.
Let's talk about money. When I graduated from chiropractic college in December of 1979, the only thing I knew about money is what my parents told me and taught me. And what I saw from observing them is that you graduate from college, that's what they told me, you go out, you get a good job, you make some money, you buy a house with a mortgage, you want a car, you get a car loan. You want to buy stuff, use your credit card, you can pay it off. And you get on this hamster wheel where you buy stuff, but you don't buy it with cash, you buy it with credit. And over the course of time, and this is very common for chiropractors and for medical doctors and for professionals, as your income increases, what happens? Your spending increases. So that's all I knew when I graduated chiropractic college. So I worked for as an associate for a year, and then I moved back down to Long Island. I opened my own office. And things went pretty well, and my practice started growing. And what did I start doing? I started buying things. I thought that's where happiness would come from. And as I started buying things like houses and real estate, I had mortgages. And by 1985, I was several $100,000 in debt. I had a great practice, I was making a great income, and much of that money was going to service that debt. Because that is the American dream. That's what we've been told. And then in 1985, I went to a seminar that changed my life. It's called Whitehall Management. Anyone ever hear of it? No? Okay. Greg Stanley. Not a chiropractor. He was a finance guy. He was a money guy. And back in the 1980s, there was a term they used to describe for the 80s. It was called the Mercedes 80s. Because in chiropractic, they had insurance company coverage, and it was like unlimited. You just submitted the bills, and they paid. No notes, no documentation, no nothing. And I didn't get caught up in that stuff because that just wasn't my thing. So I wasn't charging $100 or $150 a visit because someone had insurance. I was charging my regular fee whether they had insurance or not. That was just congruent with my values. My income increased because my volume increased and my practice grew. And during that time period, it was very common for people to spend lots of money. And there was a term that they used back then. Because people were talking about buying lots of real estate as investments. And there was a term entitled other people's money. Have you heard that?
Of course.
Have you heard it? You've heard it. What does that mean? That means you use other people's money to invest with the thought that your investment's going to go up, you'll pay back the other people, and you'll have this big profit. That works really well if you can predict the future. If you can predict interest rates. If you can predict that real estate's going to keep going up. My dad is in real estate for about 40 years. I saw some amazing boom times, which were incredible. And I saw some amazing bust times. 1987, stock market went down significantly, and the real estate escalation stopped. And then it started going down. And all these people that bought houses in the mid-'80s with the thought that we'll hold on to them for a few years and then flip it for a profit, all of a sudden got stuck with these properties that they couldn't sell. And they owed all this other people's money to other people. And these houses got foreclosed on. Something very similar to that happened just a few years ago. In Florida, the foreclosures were incredible on the west coast of Florida. But in 1985, I took that Whitehall Management seminar, and everything changed for me. Because he wasn't talking about using other people's money. He was talking about getting out of debt. Nobody else was talking about that. It was a foreign concept for me, but it kind of makes sense. Getting out of a debt and investing in income-producing assets. The vehicle of choice for him at that point were tax-free municipal bonds. So that was 1985. I was several $100,000 in debt. He had a 7-year plan to get out of debt. And in 1992, I was debt-free. And I've been debt-free ever since, other than a small mortgage on a condominium in Florida that I bought a number of years ago for my brother, who lives there, and he and his girlfriend live there, and they just make the mortgage payments each month. Other than that, I've been debt-free since 1992. It's not just about getting out of debt. It's about developing a mindset in your relationship with money.